I'm doing a book report on How to Ruin a Summer Vacation by Simone Elkeles. Amy Nelson is the girl that everyone thinks has a great life. She has never really been with her dad or ever really met him well. All she remembers is having a dad come every year to bring her birthday gifts, and that's about it. So she doesn't really know her dad much. And one day her dad decides to call her, and he asks her to go with him to Israel for a summer vacation to visit her grandmother for the first time. And she doesn't really want to because she doesn't really know her dad much. And Amy ends up having to go to Israel with her dad to meet her grandmother. And they end up having to stay at her grandmother's house, and she meets her cousin Osnat. Her cousin Osnat and her don't really get along with each other, and Osnat just doesn't really like her cousin Amy, and Osnat decides to just be rude to Amy a lot, and they just don't really get along until one day Amy ends up meeting her cousin Osnat's guy friend Avi, and he's an Israeli. And Amy and Avi don't really get along with each other because Amy thinks that Avi is the type of guy that thinks he's tough, and he thinks that he's too cute, good looking, and Avi thinks that Amy is the type that is just a girly girl and thinks about her looks too much. So they just don't really like each other or connect to each other for a while. Until one day they end up actually talking, and they end up falling for each other. Amy ends up falling hard for him, and they end up having a summer fling. And Avi doesn't really want to get into a relationship with her, but Amy does, and they just end up having just a summer fling. And Amy wants more as a relationship, and Amy doesn't. I would really recommend this book for the people that like, what's it called? Love stories, I guess, or something like that, or romance. I'd really recommend to that people should read this.